Amani Salamu. Peace and greetings, kings and queens, brothers and sisters. I am back for part two of Living from the Inside Out and being in alignment. Monday, we talked about being in alignment and what it looks like. Are you lined up? And today, part two, I want to talk about living from the inside out and what that looks like. Okay. And part three will be next week, and it will be about finding treasures in your trauma. Okay. So today I want to talk about living from the inside out and what that looks like when you don't allow what's going on around you to control you. There were two statements that I heard that changed my life. There's a lot of statements. There's a lot of different times in my life where it completely changed my life. And these are two in particular. And the first one was when I was in my early 20s and I was married, my first husband, and it was an abusive relationship. Every day wasn't a horrible day, but his behavior was, he had his own demons he was dealing with and did not know how to handle anger or things not going the way he wanted them to go in a healthy way. And that would be taken out on me. So I read a book by Susan L. Taylor. At that time, she was the editor in chief of Essence Magazine called Lessons in Living. And in it, I read one sentence and it changed my life. It didn't change what I was going through at the moment because I wasn't ready, but it changed my life. And that sentence was, the people in your life are a reflection of you. I closed that book and threw it down. And I didn't pick it up for a few more days because I was mad at Susan L. Taylor, and I love her. I still do. I was mad, frustrated, angry, appalled. And it would be years later after we divorced before I understood what that meant, that the people in your life are a reflection of you. I wasn't a drinker. I wasn't abusive to him. I wasn't nasty. I wasn't mean. I hadn't cheated on him. But, and I grew up in a family of women who were fighters. Okay. I grew up in a family of women, we're from the South. They would kick off their shoes and put their hair in a bun and let's do it. Let's do what we're going to do. Okay. That's the women I grew up with. I never saw women being abused in my family. I just didn't. So when it happened to me, I was in shock. So to hear the words, the people in your life are a reflection of you, it didn't make sense to me. And then I was angry. You know how it is when you're in a situation and you already know what you know, but when someone says it out loud, you get offended, but you already knew the truth before they said it. But I didn't understand how was he a reflection of me? And after a few years of us being divorced, I realized what it was because my ex-husband, my first husband, he thought that he was the best I could do. And I thought that he was the best I could do. We had that in common. We got married because we both wanted to be married, but neither one of us was ready for it. He told me he wasn't ready to be a father or a husband. And my mindset was, you fell in love with me. We loved each other, but we weren't in love with each other. And I told him, you fell in love with me because I tolerated your behavior. One thing I can say about a man that's abusive, and I remember saying in that relationship that, what's the sense of me leaving this relationship? I'll just end up with another man that's abusive. Because in my 20-plus-year-old mind, I believe that, how can I be in a relationship, a long-term relationship with a man, and he not get angry enough to put his hands on me at some point? I believe that. Didn't say it made sense, but I believe that. I also believe that if I leave this relationship, or why should I leave just to end up with another man who may cheat on me? Like, why start over to have to deal with the same issues when the real issue, the real concern, the real point of it all was me? Both of them did what they did because they could get away with it. So I allowed it. Nobody invites pain and negativity or abuse into their lives, but if you don't make it uncomfortable enough to leave, it's not going anywhere. Okay? It didn't show up because somebody else wished it in my life. It showed up because I was willing to allow it. Had I been the type of woman that the first time either one of them put their hands on me, my first husband When the first time he put his hands on me, I fought back. But after time, it was just, I was drained. I didn't feel like I should have to fight the man that I love or fight the man that I'm married to or fight in my home. So it didn't get better. But if I had been the kind of woman that would have picked up a pot, a skillet, boiled some water, dare I say, stabbed or shot one of them, and even though they may have lived to tell the story, I promise you they would have never done it again to me. They may have done it to another woman, but they wouldn't have tried it with me. But the first time they both tried it, or at some point, I gave them the idea that it was okay. I gave them the idea that it was allowed. I accepted it. So that's why it's so important to be mindful of what you think, say, and do, because what you think, say, believe, and do will find you. What you think, say, believe, and do will show up for you and to you. So that mindset that I had at 20 plus years old, 25 or so, 6 years later, I would meet another man who was abusive because my mindset hadn't changed. I thought it had, but it really hadn't. I was still willing to accept certain types of behavior and try to hide it. And with both of them, I finally got to the point where I said, I have a vision of my future and you're not in it. And to the man in the second relationship, I said to him, he said to me while he had his hands around my throat, I could take your life and no one could do anything about it. And I said to him, eyeball to eyeball, you don't have that kind of power. But you come to a place where you understand who you are, what you want, and that your life is in your hands. What you think, say, and do will show up. Your life is a reflection of what you believe, what you say, and what you do. Okay? You can't talk about planting your own watermelons. All right? In your heart, you really want oranges. You're always talking about bananas, but you go plant collard greens. Do you understand how chaotic that is? And that's what will show up. It takes time, energy, and effort to take a negative thought, take a doubt, take a worry, take a fear, and change the way you see it, change the way you think about it. When you live from the inside out, you change how you see things, you change the way you talk, you change the way you move. And in your changing all of that, that's what shows up for you. If you live in chaos, when chaos shows up, it's a reflection of what you got going on. Chaos, you look like chaos's best friend. But if you look like a stranger to chaos, or chaos looks like a stranger to you, it can't stay. But when we make things that are negative comfortable, they're not leaving. So we have the ability to change the way things are presented in our lives. When we get to a place where we realize we have the power with our words and the power with our thoughts and the power with our actions to change the way our life is presented to us. Will negativity come? It will come, but it doesn't have to destroy you. It doesn't have to come because of you. It can come to show you something different. It can come to show you to do or think or say something different, move differently. Sometimes the negativity that comes because of other people that are connected to us. It's about their life, but what they're saying or doing affects you, but it doesn't have anything to do with you. It affects you, but it doesn't have to completely change the way you live and the way you do things. Get to a place in your life where what you think, what you say, what you do, it becomes so comfortable and so common for you, you don't have to stop and think about it because it takes practice. Be able to say when you have a negative thought, when doubt comes, be able to say, not today. I'm not doing this today. You can come, but you can't stay. All right. Imagine having a dinner party and you plan it and you invite 40 people, right? You recognize everybody. There are a few people that you see, a few stragglers that you see. And the first thing you say to them is, I didn't invite you. I'm going to have you escorted out of the building. You were not invited. But if I'm chaos, I have a big party. I invite the public. I don't know who I invited. I don't know who brought somebody with them. I don't know how many plus ones there are or not because I didn't plan it. I didn't have any limits or boundaries. So I don't recognize chaos because chaos looks like me. But when I'm living from a place of peace and confidence and love and forgiveness and faith and trust and abundance, I recognize anything that's not of that. Okay. So begin to live from the inside out and not let what's going on around you control you, stop you, deter you, block you, disrupt you, or even anger or stop you. We're humans, we're not robots. We're divine beings. We have the ability to feel what we feel. That's what makes us divine. We can feel, we can think, we can move, we can change, we can shift, we can become. Let being positive become who you are, not what you do. You have the ability to do that. For the next 7 days, write down 3 things that you are grateful for the next 7 days, and let each day be something different. I promise you that's one of the ways to change how you see your life. It'll allow you to be appreciative of what you have, and it'll also show you how to change a negative thought into a positive thought. You have the ability to do it. The other thing that stayed with me for years is asking myself the question when things happen or things take place in my life: what did I do to contribute to this? How did I get here? Why is this here? Because it's my life. Other people don't control my life. I do. I can get all the advice and counseling that I want from other people, but ultimately I make the decision. So begin to ask yourself that question: how did I get here and how did I contribute to this? If you trust someone and they let you down, be able to say, you know what? It's not on you, it's on me, because I trusted you. I trusted you to be who I wanted you to be. I trusted you to be who you said you were going to be to me. Someone lies to you, it's on me because I trusted you. When you take ownership of your own life, it'll change how you see things. You'll see true freedom. It's not about control, it's about honoring and knowing your power, honoring and knowing who you are, honoring and knowing what you're capable of doing. Because happiness is not a handout, it's not something that someone can give you. Neither is negativity, neither is pain. There's certain things we invite into our lives with our words. For 6+ years, I believed a certain thing and I created it, it showed up. So we either create the environment, we invite it, or we make it comfortable. We have a choice. I'm not talking about minors who are relying on adults to take care of them and make sure they're well. I'm talking to adults, 18 and above, who can think for yourself, function for yourself. You can make a decision, complete a thought, and change your mind. I'm talking to you. You have the ability to make a thought. You have the ability to make a decision. You have the ability to have whatever you want to have in your life. It takes time, but it is possible. So thank you for stopping by. I pray that you honor living from the inside out, not allowing what's going on around you deter you, stop you, or destroy you. Realize that you have the ability to live from the inside out. Let what you think, say, do, and believe show up in a positive way, because what you think, say, do, and believe will show up for you. What you think, say, and do will show up to you and will honor you, because that is a reflection of you. So for the next 7 days, write down those 3 things that you are grateful for, and try for the next 3 weeks to change that mindset when a negative thought comes, when worry comes, when frustration comes. Be able to stop and take a deep breath and say, okay, how did I get here? Where's this thought coming from? I'm not doing this today. It's not bigger than I am. I am bigger than it. It doesn't control me. I control it. And if it doesn't honor me, I don't need it. Okay? I love you. Be well, be great, be beautiful, because you are. It is possible. It is possible to live from the inside out. And remember, what you think, say, and do will find you. I love you.